how they are to worship and to keep them in order. It says that in verse number 6, that everyone in Israel did whatever they wanted to do. Brothers and sisters, this isn't much different than our time today. The church and religion and following God has been left in many cases to our own minds, has been left in many ways to our own thoughts. That we can do whatever we want to do. We can act however we want to act. I think it was last week or sometime I shared recently that there used to be a time when a person could do such a thing that they could be thrown out or set aside for service unto the Lord. They could be out of the qualifications of serving the Lord. But now we're in a time that we can do whatever we want to do. There's no such thing as a standard of holiness anymore. We do whatever we want to do, and you just have to accept it.
Yeah.
We can write whatever law we can write whatever law we choose because it's up to me.
Yeah.
And everyone in that day, because there was no one who was leading them, there was no one who was guiding them, they did whatever they want in their own eyes. It looks good to me. I'll build my own shrine. I don't need to be in the fellowship. I don't need to worship. I don't need to do it as God's word says. I'll make up my own way. I'll make up my own shrine. I'll do it my own way. I'll make up my own ephod. No, God hasn't told me to do it. I'll just do it on my own. That's religion. They're not connecting with God. The story travels on from there that Micah then goes along and he finds a young priest, a Levite from Bethlehem. The problem here is that the Levites, back in Exodus chapter 32, when Israel had built their own golden calf, when the people of God had decided to go their own way because Moses was taking too long to come down with the instruction from God from the mountain, they went and they did their own thing. And Moses came down and saw that they had built in Exodus 32 this calf. They had crafted this calf. They had crafted their own God, made up their own God, and installed it as the ruler of their life. They gave it the credit for taking them out of Egypt. Moses asked this question, the same question we have to ask ourselves this morning. Moses said, in light of how the world, how people are falling away from God, how people are doing their own thing and making gods out of everything that we drive and everything that we live in and every relationship that we have, making and installing their own gods, Moses' question was, who's on the Lord's side? As the decay continues to spread through Israel, and spread through Baltimore, and spread through the United States, and spread through the world, the question this morning is who's on the Lord's side? It was these sons of Levi, the Levites, who stood up and said, we're on the Lord's side. We'll adhere. We'll stand with God. We'll follow after the commands of God. We'll be in relationship with God. Everybody else is doing their own thing and falling away, but we'll be the ones who will stand. I've got to ask the question this morning, is there anybody who says that regardless of what's going on in the world, in my home, around me, that my declaration for myself is that I'll stand on the Lord's side. I'll stand in my relationship with God, breaking out of religion, breaking out of tradition, and coming into right fellowship with God. That daily I will seek him and learn of him for myself. That's the question. And the tribe, the sons of Levi, say we will. Moses says this day he's been ordained to serve God. And from that day forward, the Levites are installed as the very priest for all the tribes of Israel. The interesting thing here is that they're assigned to live in 48 cities when they come into this land that God has promised them. They are assigned to 48 cities, and the problem is none of them is actually where this guy is from. He is from Bethlehem in Judah. That's not one of the cities that God has ascribed for the ministers to live in. What am I saying this morning? He is legitimate. Later on we'll find out his name is Jonathan. He's the grandson of Moses. He is legitimate as a Levite, but he's from the wrong place. He's from an unauthorized place. He comes from somewhere that God never spoke about ministers coming from and ministering in that place. But Micah, because he is religious, is so excited to have his own personal priest that he'll minister to me and he'll serve and he will give me all the things I want from God because he's my priest. He's my pastor. I've bought my own pastor. He finds this Levite who's unauthorized. And he asks him, he says, where are you going? He says, I don't know where I'm going. I'm a pastor. I'm a minister of God. I've been sent by God. I'm authorized by God to minister, but I'm coming from an unauthorized place, and I don't know where I'm going. Listen, be careful this morning. Following after a person who doesn't know where they're going in the Lord. Be careful this morning. Following after somebody who doesn't have a vision or a voice from God. They're simply going, where are you going, Levite? I don't know. Wherever God sends me, that's where I'm going. And when I get there, I'll know that I'll be there.